It's 9 o'clock at night and you know something is wrong. Maybe it's a fever that won't come down, or the most severe pain you've ever had that just woke you up out of sleep. Maybe it's your kid. But then there you find yourself in your kitchen with your phone in hand, typing your symptoms into a search bar. There's a part of you that's really scared that this might be serious. But then you also have another part of you that's concerned you might be overreacting. You don't want to be dramatic. You don't want to sit in an emergency room for hours for nothing, and you definitely don't want the bill that comes with it. But you also don't want to talk yourself out of something that might actually matter. So what do? You just stand there frozen between two fears. Here's what I want you to know. That moment is one of the most common health moments that people have. And almost nobody ever taught us how to navigate that. So today, we're going to fix that. By the end of this episode, you are going to have a simple and clear answer to one question. Where do I go when I'm sick? Welcome to Fuller Living, your space for empowerment, inspiration, and practical health nuggets. Here you'll find relatable guidance that fits your everyday life as you journey to a fuller and healthier you. I'm your host, Dr. Ashitey. Let's dig in. Welcome back to Fuller Living. Wherever you are listening in from today, I am so glad that you're here with me. Thank you so much for joining. I want to start with something that I see all the time. I'm going to describe two different types of patients. The first kind is the one who waited too long. Something was wrong for days, something serious. And when I ask them why they didn't come in, they say things like, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, or I figured it would pass, or I didn't want to be that person. And then there's the second kind of person that I see. They spent 5 hours in the emergency room. They left with a huge bill. And then it turns out to be something that I could have handled in the office for 20 minutes. Here's what's interesting though. Neither of those people made a foolish choice. They made a scared choice because no one ever sat them down to explain where they needed to go when they were sick. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to cover 3 things. First, why this decision feels so hard in the first place. Second, I'm going to talk about 3 places you can go and how to tell them apart. And third, I'm going to give you a simple rule you can carry everywhere with you the moment you feel like you can't think straight. And I want to be clear about my goal. I'm not trying to make you anxious about being sick. I want to give you tools to make you feel like you're calm when you're feeling unwell and you know exactly where to go. So let's get into it. Let me start by naming why this is so hard. When something goes wrong with your body, you're not making a calm or logical decision. It's just hard to do that. You're scared. You might be in severe pain. A lot of times it's the middle of the night. It's not convenient. And you're being pulled in 2 directions at once. On the one side, you've got this fear that you might be overreacting. Nobody wants to be that person who rushed to the ER for nothing. And on the other side, you don't want to waste anyone's time. You don't want to look foolish. And honestly, we're doing this math in our heads about the cost-benefit analysis. On the other side, there's this real danger, the danger of talking yourself out of something that might actually be serious. But here's the truth. Both of those directions carry risk. Whether it's waiting too long for something that's dangerous or rushing to the wrong place, that can cost you hours and money. The goal is to help you match your problem with the right place. And that's the shift I want to help us make today. This decision is not really about how much pain you're in. It's not about how scared you feel in the moment. It really is about 2 things. What kind of help does this situation need, and how fast does it need to happen? Got it? What kind of help do I need, and how fast does it need to happen? I want you to hold on to that because that's the key that's going to unlock everything else for us today. All right, I want to talk about 3 options that you have. I want you to picture 3 different doors. Behind each door, you have 3 different levels of care. And the skill that I want you to leave with is knowing which door fits what specific health situation. The first door is the emergency room. This is where you go if you have something that could threaten your life, your limb, your eyes, you name it. This is the minutes matter door. So we're talking about chest pain or chest pressure because that could be a heart attack. Or you have sudden trouble breathing, which could be asthma or blood clots. Signs of a stroke, like drooping of one side of your face, weakness on one side of the body, slurred speech. Or you have severe bleeding that just won't stop. Or the worst headache that you've ever felt in your life. Or a severe allergic reaction that comes with a sudden rash, swelling of the tongue, swelling of the lips, or any kind of major injury. For anything like this, you want to hear me clearly. This is not the time to weigh the cost. You don't want to see if it passes. You don't want to talk yourself out of it. You don't want to pass, go, collect 50, whatever that thing says on that game. You need to call 911 and you need to call it right now. Or if you can, you need to get yourself to the emergency room right away. Nobody has ever regretted getting their chest pain checked out. Let me say it again. I'll say it with my full chest, no pun intended. Nobody has ever regretted getting their chest pain checked out. The ER exists for these kinds of moments. That's what it's built for. The second door is urgent care. Now, this is a door that a lot of people don't think about a lot, but it's there for your help. So this is for things that need attention today, but may not be life-threatening. For instance, you're running around and had a bad sprain. Or you've got a cut that needs stitches, but you've not got blood gushing all over the place. Maybe a fever that's not breaking. Or a UTI, a nasty sore throat, a rash, vomiting, diarrhea. These are for things that are urgent. Meaning they can't wait for a week. They need to be seen today, but it's nowhere as serious as the stuff I described before for the ER. The urgent care is often faster than the ER, and it's usually a place that has longer hours. They work in the evenings and weekends. So when your doctor's office is closed, you have a place where you can go and get urgent care. Now, I need to be honest with you about one thing because I don't want to oversimplify this. A lot of people assume that urgent care is always a cheaper option, but that's not always true. Some insurance plans actually charge you a higher copay at the urgent care than when you come to see me or your PCP at the office. So it's worth knowing that ahead of time and what your plan does. But the point here is that urgent care is not always the cheapest, should not always be your first place to go, but it is there to fill the gap, especially in those after hours times. Now, the third door is your primary care doctor. Okay, the third door is your family doctor. This is the door that I need you to remember the most, because here's a good rule to live by. Unless it's life-threatening, I want you to always think of your primary care doctor. Why is this? Well, your doctor knows you. Your primary care office is the place that houses your history. We know your medications. We've seen you over time. Heck, I know who your aunt is, your uncle, your kid. And that continuity of care is not small. It is very valuable. And those relationships also really are important for your health. So your doctor is the right door for things that need attention, but can wait a little bit. So a rash that's been building slowly over time, or you've been feeling fatigued for a long time, you've got questions about your medications, you need to follow up for your blood pressure, you've got something that's nagging you for a couple of weeks but not serious. And often if you call, we can see you sometimes the same day, or we can schedule you within a couple of days. Now, this is something a lot of people don't think about. When you go to the urgent care, following up with your doctor still matters. The urgent care is supposed to be a supplement and not a substitute. So After an urgent care visit, it is very important to schedule a follow-up visit with your doctor. So ask the urgent care to send your records. A lot of times they'll send them directly to me or your doctor so that by the time you get there, they have your full picture to go over with you. Now, one more practical tip, especially for urgent care. Because they don't have your records, it is so important that you have them and take it with you. Tell them what medications you're taking. Tell them of any conditions that you've been diagnosed with. It's so important because it changes what they think about that might be going on with you. Tell them of any allergies. You don't want them prescribing medication for you that might cause more problems. Most importantly, give them your doctor's name. So walk in prepared because it protects you. It keeps someone from prescribing something that's going to clash with what's already going on with you, okay? So there are 3 doors. You've got the ER for a life-threatening thing, a limb issue, eyesight issue that's gone. That is, I need to be seen right now, okay? Urgent care for things that matter today, but maybe you're having a hard time getting into your doctor. And for everything else, including follow-up from the ER or urgent care, you're coming to see your PCP. Now, in that moment when you're scared, I know sometimes it's going to be hard to remember those 3 doors. Oh my gosh, what did she say? So I'm going to give you something that is simple. I'm going to give you one question that you can carry right in your pocket that when something is going wrong, you've got this to ask yourself. Is it a threat to my life, my limb, or my eyesight right now? And if the answer is yes, or even a strong maybe, 911, no hesitation. Now, if it's not that, but it clearly needs to be seen today, that's your urgent care situation. And if it's something that can wait a little while, something that requires your doctor and some information, that's where you're coming to see me or your PCP. Now, of course, as with anything in life, there's a gray zone because there are going to be times where honestly, you can't tell which door you're looking at. Something's in the middle, you're not really sure. In that moment, I don't want you to feel stuck because you have a phone a friend option. Most doctors' offices, including mine, have the option for you to call and speak with someone. A lot of times it's a triage nurse, or if it's my office, you're getting the doctor. That is literally part of what we're there for. We know your history. We know exactly what kind of question to answer because we do this all the time. And we can help you decide if you need to call 911 or get to the ER, or if it's after hours, if it's something that you can go to urgent care for. So that gray zone area, that's where you call the nurse. But I do want you to be very clear that if it's a red flag symptom, chest pain, trouble breathing, signs of a stroke, my body isn't working, please don't call the nurse for that. Time really matters. Don't wait, dial 911. The gray zone question is for when you're genuinely unsure. It's never for talking yourself out of a real emergency. I hope this helps. Here's where we're going to make it all useful. This is my favorite part of the episode. The best time to make a decision is not at 9 o'clock at night. It's not when you're feeling scared. The best time to make the decision is right now while we're calm. Because if you already know where you're going to go, like where your nearest ER is, where the nearest urgent care is, you're not going to have to make a decision out of panic in the future because you've already done that in advance. So here's this week's SMART goal. Remember, a SMART goal is a goal that is specific, it is measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This week, it's so simple. I want you to look up the nearest urgent care close to you, find out the name, the address, the hours that they work. You might want to have their phone number saved, and this is something that you can pull up very easily. So let's break that down. Specific, one urgent care, the one closest to you. Measurable, save it in your phone. It's either in there or it's not. Achievable, this shouldn't even take 5 minutes. Relevant, this is important because it removes that guesswork. And whatever you can do for a healthier you is part of you living a healthier, fuller life. and time bound, we're going to do this over the next 7 days. And while you're at it, if you have a couple of extra minutes, check one more thing. Does that urgent care have evening or weekend hours? Because that really matters, right? Because otherwise, that's something you would see your PCP for. That's it. 5 calm minutes now so that your future you isn't standing there frozen in the kitchen with your phone trying to figure out what to do right then. Let's bring it home. Today, we talked about one of the most common stressful moments in health. Something's wrong with you and you don't know where to go. We talked about why that decision can be hard because you're scared, maybe overreacting, scared of even underreacting all at once. We talked about 3 doors, the ER, for anything that's life-threatening to your limb, your eye, right now. We talked about urgent care. Those things need attention, but not really right this second and isn't an emergency. And then we talked about your primary care doctor, the person who knows you, the place where everything is housed. And we gave you one question for that moment of panic. Is this life-threatening or threatening to my limb or my eyesight right now? And I gave you a phone a friend option, that gray zone. Call your doctor's office and ask for the triage nurse. Here's what I hope you really take with you. This decision is not about how scared you feel. It's about matching the problem with the right place. And when you know how to do that, that's where a lot of things shift. You don't become that frozen person in the kitchen anymore. You start being able to act. You have a clear roadmap. And this is what it's all about. Clarity and not fear. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been stuck in this kind of exact situation, and what did you do? Have you ever landed in the wrong place? In fact, I have a story of a family member who went to the ER because they had a cut on their lip, only to be told that this was something that was going to heal on its own. It didn't need stitches or anything, and it cost them over $1,000. If this episode was helpful, do me a favor. Share it with a loved one, share it with your friends. Chances are they've been in the same place too. And if you're getting something out of these conversations, please subscribe to this YouTube, subscribe to this podcast, either Spotify or Apple, wherever you stream. And that makes sure you don't miss the next episode. Next week, I want to meet you right here at the same place for another helpful and life-changing topic. But until then, let's get to fuller living.
Well, fam, that wraps up another episode of Fuller Living, where we talk about health in a bite-sized, relatable, practical, and fun way. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress one small step at a time while remaining consistent. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with a friend who might need a little bit of inspiration, and leave me your 5-star review. And if you're in Dallas and looking for a new PCP, look me up at southwestfamilymed.com. I can't wait to meet you. Until next time, let's get to fuller living.